Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our saga campaign, Glorfindel Walks to Mordor. I'm Onidson.
And I'm Ecthelion, and it's been a really long time since we've recorded last.
Today we are going to go against The Ring Goes South. I am told it is one of the best quests in the game.
By me and my incredibly biased opinion, because this is one of the quests that I use to test just about every new deck that I create.
So, speaking of new decks that we've created, I don't see Hobbits on your side of the table this time.
No, despite the incredible combat capabilities of the Hobbits that they exhibited in their valorous stands against the Nazgul, I've decided to opt for a more nuanced approach with Rossiel, my favorite hero in the game, along with Thurindir to pull out Scout Ahead early, and my other favorite hero in the game, Gandalf.
I have to note that Thurindir is probably one of my favorite heroes in the game, so...
So we got the all-star dream team over here taking the ring south.
There we go. And I, despite at least a little bit of thought going into it, haven't found a really cool deck idea involving Glorfindel, and I kind of wanted to keep him around, so we're going with a slight variation on our tried and true Arwen Glorfindel Barivore deck.
We also have a new face over here in the form of Afro Frodo, who should be there to provide a little bit of resource acceleration for either of our deck.
Which I know I certainly could use.
And me as well.
So those are our decks. That's the quest. Shall we go ahead and get started?
Yeah. In the House of Elrond, the evil wounds that Frodo received on Weathertop is healed, and he is reunited with his uncle Bilbo. But the One Ring cannot remain hidden in Rivendell for long, so Lord Elrond summons a council to decide what should be done to protect the free peoples of Middle-earth. And spoiler alert, they're not going to give it to Tom Bombadil. As for our setup, we're instructed to set a few cards aside out of play. And according to the campaign setup, we have some boons to look at.
So, we have earned the boon cards Sting, Mithril Shirt, Glamdring, and Anduril, and each player chooses one and adds it to his hand, and if any of them remain unchosen, they get shuffled into the first player's deck. That would be me.
In an effort to completely maximize the amount of things Frodo can stack on him, I'm going to grab this Mithril Shirt.
And while Glamdring is really tempting and would probably be the optimal choice, I'm going to take Sting just because. Let's see how much we can actually put on Frodo.
Right, we gotta let Frodo have a little bit of the action, even before he gets kidnapped briefly by the Watcher. But those are spoilers, so we'll just proceed through the Council of Elrond.
All right. We advance to stage 1B. Forced at the end of the planning phase, each player places the top card of his deck face up in front of him in player order until there are a total of 4 face-up cards between the players. And the first player chooses one face-up card to be played for 0 cost, 1 to add to its owner's hand, 1 to discard, and 1 to shuffle into its owner's deck. Then either shuffle Lust for the Ring into the encounter deck, or raise each player's threat by 5. So shall we go ahead and get started on this quest?
Let's do it!
I've drawn Protector of Lorien. That's good, because that would have been a stupid card to reveal for the Council of Elrond.
And would you mind showing me your
yes.
opening hand?
Sorry
or
about that.
Your current hand, I suppose.
I chose not to mulligan because after our last game, having a couple high-cost allies and to the sea so I can play them in hand is something not to be discounted. So I'm going to play to the sea and use Barivore to draw 2 cards. Test of Will and Athelas. Also stupid things to have revealed to that Council of Elrond. And this is going to be hilarious. Ditch Hotom Bombadil to add a resource to Glorfindel. Spend 2 resources to play a Master of the Forge. Exhaust Master of the Forge to pull out Legacy Blade, Elven Mail, or Unexpected Courage.
No pipes?
No pipes.
Oh, this reminds me. I'm going to look in my deck and grab Scout Ahead for my opening hand.
Oh, scout ahead and not gather information.
Right.
Interesting.
It's a Rossiel deck, after all.
That's true. My traditional approach to Thurindir has been to pull out gather information and use it to find a second side quest to speed up the boosting, but I can see the scout ahead to get Rossiel online as quick as possible. I think I'm going to go with that Unexpected Courage. And now, do you have need of Frodo's resource this round?
It could be nice, but I don't absolutely. It would get us a healer and that quest for 3 in the future.
Okay. What would it get me? Nothing particularly useful, I guess. I'll exhaust to the sea, and I'm discarding, I need to discard 3 cards. I don't need Athlos to start with. Is Test of Will something worth keeping? They're
probably
more
not
in the
till
deck.
the late
We'll draw
game
them.
when we have more allies.
Okay. So yeah, I'll ditch a Test of Will, and I have 3 copies of both Gildor and Galdor of the Havens. I'll ditch a copy of Gildor and spend a single resource to pull out Galdor of the Havens. And I'll exhaust the 1 ring to give a resource to Rossiel. Rossiel seems fine.
Oh, you're too kind. I will play Daron's Runes to draw Gather Information and a Welling Hall Preserver, discarding a spurious... Is spurious the right word? I don't know. An extraneous Mithrandir's Advice. We'll drop a couple of side quests. And Gandalf will get his staff. And we'll get a Welling Hall Preserver.
Very nice. As far as opening hands go.
Time for the council.
Alright. My first card is a Wizard Pipe.
We have Leave No Trace.
My second card is Asphaleth.
And my second card is a Wandering Ents.
So, which of these ought to go into play?
Probably either the Wandering Ents or Asphaleth.
I'm gonna pick Asphaleth, I think. What do you think?
Okay. That's fine.
Given how many Ents... Oh.
You're the first player, so you get to choose everything.
Well, yes, but... Alright, I'm gonna pick the Wizard Pipe into hand.
The pipe into hand.
Leave no trace to the discard.
Okay. And then...
You think? My opinion of it is that it's probably the weakest of the victory display events.
Okay, I'll send Wandering Ent into the deck then.
Okay.
And we will advance to the quest phase.
Okay, advancing to stage 2. You mind moving Scout Ahead slightly out of the way?
Yep. And let's shuffle Lust for the Ring into the
Oh,
account.
yes. I definitely can get behind that. I would rather not raise my threat by 5.
Yeah, we would
Especially
be
since I
sitting
might
at.
be needing to raise it further for Heirs of Arendelle. When revealed, make Redhorn pass the active location.
All right.
And then I will reveal cards from the encounter deck until there are at least X threat in the staging area, where X is 4 for us. So the first reveal, Howling Warg,
Well above our engagement thresholds.
and second reveal, Regiments of Crows. And then we reveal Storm of Howls.
Lots of treacheries.
Hmm. Are we up to taking?
This is a peril.
Oh, it's peril. I can't. I'll say minus 20 engagement cost until the end of the round.
Okay.
And there we go. Gets plus 5 in engagement cost. So it's sitting at a nice
That's while it's the active
23.
location.
Oh, that's while it's the active location. That's right.
Yeah. So it is. It is what it is. Does that effect apply to wargs which might be revealed during staging, or not?
Let me take a look. It's until the end of the round, so it probably does.
Okay.
This is going to be exciting.
Oh, indeed. Let's take a look at stage 2B. Actually, the council decides the One Ring should be cast into Mount Doom. Frodo has appointed 8 companions to help him complete this quest, and the Company of the Ring sets out from Rivendell into Holland on their way to Mordor. Holland is no
And
longer wholesome for us. It is being watched. Aragorn, the Fellowship of the Ring.
so we must travel to a location available, and we place a damage on the active location anytime we engage an enemy. Well, that's ugly.
I will take this opportunity to play Daron's Runes real quick. And discard a Sylvan Track.
Okay. And I will commit characters to the quest. I think I'm going to leave Glorfindel up.
Which quest will we be committing to?
Well, you're playing Rossiel, so how do you feel about Scout Ahead?
Sounds great.
I don't think we can clear it this round.
Probably not, but we wouldn't be able to clear anything.
Right. You know what? I might just quest all out.
Do you want me to leave Gandalf up to block the warg then?
That would be a good idea. I was thinking that
Okay.
or Rossiel, but yeah, Gandalf would be better.
Rossiel will only have 2 defense.
Unless we manage to clear,
Unless we manage to
which
clear.
is not likely. Okay, I'm
I'll
questing
send
for
4.
10 and you for 4. Alright, here we go. First reveal. Eregion. Good. Second reveal, Redhorn Foothills.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone assign the term good to a Region, but the foothills aren't bad to see.
So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We make 3 progress. And I will Asphalloth 2 onto a Region.
Okay. I suppose the Howling Warg has 18 engagement cost.
Yes.
So I will optionally engage that.
Putting 1 further damage on the active location.
And then another one as he attacks.
Oof. This is going to get out of hand quickly. That's good to see gone.
Okay.
And then we can ready.
I'll play Garon's Runes and discard the Mithril Shirts.
Oh, I thought we were trying to put that on Frodo. Okay.
I have a Will of the West in here.
Okay. Fair point. I just pulled another Test of Will, and I will pass the Frodo stack over your direction.
Okay. Do you have any Fellowship cards in your deck?
I do not.
Then I will take this opportunity to spend all of Frodo's resources very judiciously and unceremoniously. Though not before purchasing Quick Beam. Off the top of my deck,
Very nice.
we will do 1, 2, 3 for Shadowfax. And I'm still seeing absolutely no victory display cards. So I will draw a card.
Well, there's one.
Over to you.
If you want to give yourself a resource with the ring, we can do a little trick and get a location in the victory display that'll give Rossiel +2 willpower for the rest of the game. Well, as soon as we clear Redhorn Pass.
Okay, perhaps I will do that then.
And I'll ask away Eregion right now. Oh wait, can you play Leave No Trace right now?
Yes, or actually not till quest phase.
Okay, so I'll wait then until the quest phase to do it.
Fair enough.
I will use Master of the Forge. I will pull out Light of Valinor. We'll put that up there. And how does Rossiel feel about a burning brand?
Always in the mood.
And then Beravor will draw 2 cards. There's a Verendel Elven Light, which I will discard to Arwen to put a resource onto Glorfindel, triggering Galdor of the Haven's response. Not onto Glorfindel, onto Arwen, so I have a resource for a Test of Will. There we go.
Great.
And now we're starting to roll. Next round I'll use Frodo's resource to put the Wizard Pipe on Gandalf.
Did we remember a noble hero for Frodo last round?
No, we did not. That should be 4 progress on the Redhorn Pass.
Okay. As for questing,
You've got 11?
yep, let's do 11.
And I'll quest for 3, 6, 8, so 19 between us.
Okay.
And I will Asphaleth away Eregion.
To which I will add that to the victory display using Leave No Trace.
And that should get us started.
Great. That will also be good to shut the door on later in the game.
Yes. Very true. So there's 6 threat in the staging. We need to make a total of 6 progress. So we can afford
And
to
are we
reveal...
still scouting ahead?
Yes, assuming we're going to scout ahead.
Okay.
So, first reveal, this one's yours. And that one we can leave for a little while.
Okay.
And the second reveal is that we've revealed exactly 5.
Oh, if only we had an extra resources and an extra resource, and then we could shut the door already.
So
But
there's 1, 2,
alas.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We make 8 progress. Let's try that again. There we go. Red Horn Pass goes to the victory display, and we assign 5 damage among characters we control.
Okay.
I'm thinking rather strongly of putting it all on Glorfindel. He has 7 hit points right now.
Okay.
Then I'll send Scout ahead to the victory display. And I'll just pull the top 6 cards out to the staging area to look at.
Sounds good.
For you.
And I'm hoping for a Hound of Sauron that we can add to the victory display and bolster Rossiel's defense. But it doesn't look like we're that lucky.
We got a Cribane from Dunland.
We do, and that's essentially a surge. So, yeah, why don't we just take out the Cribane? As for the these cards, the ring draws them will be positive to see because it'll let us engage enemies while there's no active location. So let's put that in the front.
Okay.
Actually, for shadow cards, let's get a Storm of Howls as a shadow card.
Okay.
And the ring draws them, which surges into Hills of... let's do the Tree-Crowned Hill. That will cause the Howling Warg to engage. Then we can do a Storm of Howls as another shadow card. And then Hills of Holland as a reveal for the next turn. What do you feel?
The ring draws them will surge.
Oh, that's right. We get 2 cards revealed. Put the Hills of Holland. Actually, we can reveal the Storm of Howls because the minus 20 engagement cost won't mean anything.
Yes.
So in fact, let's let the Tree-Crowned Hill be the shadow, and then we could have the ring draws them surge into 2 Storms of Howls.
And we add no threat to the staging area.
And actually, I like the Tree-Crowned Hill better than Hills of Holland. So, I'm sorry, I'm very indecisive. Let's let Hills of Holland be the shadow card this turn. Or I guess it doesn't matter, because they'll both be shadow cards.
Okay.
So, let's do it.
Shall we travel to the Hills of Holland?
Yep, let's do it.
I like raising my threat better than discarding random cards from hand or, heaven forbid, discarding allies from play. Since there was no need for a test of will, I'm going to pull Elven Light back to hand, drawing me another card.
Okay.
And here's the shadow card.
Rossiel will defend, canceling the shadow effect. And the Warg is dead with 1 damage on Hills of...
Alright. So Rossiel takes no damage because she was defending for 4.
Precisely, because there is a creature.
And I have drawn Anduril, and I feel disappointed about this. So, to deal with my disappointment, I shall add Vigilant Guard to my hand. Discarding Elven Light to Arwen for a resource. And drawing a card with Galdor's Response. And then drawing 2 more with Barivor. Sigh. So my hand is a little bit full. I'm going to rearrange it, but the first thing we're going to do is to drop an unexpected courage onto Rossiel.
Thank you very much. Keep in mind that Kina's lances cost 2 at this point, so it would pay for itself if you wanted to get rid of it, which you wouldn't want to.
Right.
But you could pay 2 to draw 3 cards or reduce your threat by 4.
I will spend Frodo's resource to put the wizard pipe onto Gandalf.
Thank you very much. Gandalf appreciates the delivery.
I will spend a resource to put Protector of Lorien on Glorfindel, I believe. And other than that, I will spend another resource to put another copy of Protector of Lorien onto Rossiel.
Oh, awesome. She is becoming quite the tank.
Do we need that? Is there an enemy with I guess the Watcher has 6 attack, doesn't he?
The Watcher does, but not till we get to the Watcher will we have to worry about it.
Okay. And how are your resources looking? Would an extra resource do any good?
I could use one from the staff to afford a Durndingle Warrior, and then one from the ring to get a Wellencall Preserver. If you could use the resource, I would buy an Ent Draught instead of the Preserver, or Ent Draft, and still leave a resource open for shutting the door if necessary.
Okay.
So
feel
free to the
I think I'm
ring.
going to put the resource on Glorfindel. Just to start trying to build up a storehouse of eventually to become tactics resources.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm going to use the pipe to switch this Durndingle Warrior with the top card of my deck. I will use Gandalf's Staff to give him a resource and pay for that warrior. Treebeard is always good to see on top of the deck. I have an Ent Draft. Do we want to give it to the Durndingle Warrior, or to Rossiel, or to Glorfindel?
I'd appreciate it on Glorfindel at the moment, since he only has 2 hit points remaining, and I have
Sounds
not yet
good.
seen any Athelas.
Have at it.
Or if I have, I think I discarded it. I have, and I discarded it. Alright, ready to quest?
Yes.
Alright then, to gather information?
Let's do it.
3 for Arwen, 3 for Glorfindel, 3 for Frodo, 2 for Galdor. So that's 11 on my end.
I think I'll do 10. I believe Eregion is a hills. Yep, so
It is?
10 here.
So 21 between us.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Against 9 in staging. First reveal was the ring draws them, which surges into a storm of howls. I will pick each warg enemy gets minus 20 engagement cost. Your card is a second
And I will
storm of
pick
howls.
each warg gets minus 20 engagement cost.
And at the end of the quest phase, each enemy engages the first player.
So let's resolve the quest first.
Oh, yes. We make loads and loads of progress. 12, it looks like.
Okay.
Sending gather information to the victory display.
Awesome.
And
Thorndir
clearing the hills of
appreciates-
Hollin, and we each raise our threat by 1.
Okay. Call me crazy, but I'm going to grab a None Return from my deck.
Okay. Should I grab double back? Or should I grab
That could be
something
fun.
slightly more important to my deck's function?
Depends on how comfortable we're feeling about threat.
I'm feeling alright. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna grab double back. It'll power up
Okay.
Thrindir, it'll power up Legacy Blades. Okay then. At the end of the phase, Howling War engages me. There is no active location to put damage on. I'm going to ask Veloth to progress onto Eregion. And shall we travel to the Red Horn foothills?
Um, sure.
All right. And
Shadowfax will defend,
oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
and Gandalf will also help attack.
Between Gandalf and Glorfindel, we can kill the warg.
And the warg will be prevented from ever returning.
Very nice.
So we're getting some great fodder to shut the door on in the future. And I have 2 doors closed available.
Excellent.
Great. Now that it's free, I might as well play Kina's Lances now and draw 3 cards.
Well, if we're doing that, I'm going to do the same with my Keenus Lances. And there's a Rivendell Minstrel.
We're going to have way too many pairs of Galadriel's eyes in the victory display by the time we're done.
You're not wrong. All right,
Okay,
that's
on
the
to
end
the
of the
next
round.
round.
On to the next round. I'll pass the Frodo stack over your direction.
Oh, thank you kindly. I'm going to Wizard Pipe, swap a. Let's do a Booming Ent this time onto the top of the deck. And actually, I'll have healed one from Quick Beam as we readied. That gives me an Expert Treasure Hunter in hand, which I'll then play. I believe Thurindir's up to 4 willpower.
That sounds correct to me.
Yeah. Gandalf will add a resource, and using his already possessed resource, I'll play the Booming Ent. And then I will spend 1 for a Mithrander's Advice. Since it's just for my hand, we don't have the full 3, but I will draw 2 cards from that. And I will exhaust the 1 ring to give Rossiel a resource. I'll spend that on an end draft. And I'll give this one to the Dingle Warrior.
Very nice. Very nice indeed.
Over to you.
All right. I shall play out double back and use my Master of the Forge. Ooh. Athelas Cloak of Lorien Legacy Blade. I'm going to bring out the Legacy Blade because I think we need attack boosts in the reasonably near future. I will also spend 1 to bring Elven Light back to hand, drawing a card,
Great.
and discard it to add a resource to Glorfindel, drawing a card with Galdor's response. Exhaust to the Seed of the Sea, discarding Anduril and an extra copy of Asphaleth. And spending Baravor's resource to put a Rivendell Minstrel into play, searching the entire deck for a Song of Battle, shuffling the deck, putting that Song of Battle onto Glorfindel, and also playing a Legacy Blade.
Great.
And
So that puts you up to 5 attack.
At the
and
moment, yes.
9 hit points.
Also true. And I will draw 2 more cards with Barivor. So I think we're ready to quest.
Okay. I will send 8, 10, 11, 14.
And I will send 3, 6, 8. So
Are we doubling back?
I believe that would be a good idea. What do you think?
I think that's a wonderful idea.
Okay, so 22 against... I will trigger Asphiloth. Nothing in the staging area.
Wonderful.
First reveal, Hills of Holland.
Okay.
Second
enough?
reveal, Hound of Sauron, which surges
Oh,
and surges.
I'm gonna want to get one of those into the. And I'm gonna say no on the Howling Warg.
All right, and because it is straight up canceled, we just discard it. If I understand.
Yep,
correctly.
that's correct.
All right,
It'll
then.
be good to see one of these Hounds of Sauron in the victory display.
So we make 18 progress, which is
Great. I draw a card from Expert Treasure Hunter.
okay. Also, from the Redhorn Foothills, the Forced effect gives both of these wargs -5 engagement cost.
Okay. And we
So
have to
they're
discard
currently at
a random
35
card.
apiece. And we each drop our threat by 5.
Okay.
And randomly discard a card from hand.
Yes.
There goes one of my heirs of Arendo. Oh no.
I believe you're forced to travel to the Hills of Holland,
Yep.
and I will optionally engage a Hound of Sauron.
Okay. I kind of feel like optionally engaging one myself, but not 100%. Well, if you're fine defending with a Durndingle warrior for me,
Yep, I want him damaged anyway for the booming edge.
okay. So that's 2 damage on the Hills of Holland, but that, as far as damage on locations go, that's a fairly innocuous one.
Right. Especially since we just reduced our threat significantly.
So, shadow cards, like so.
For me, we'll do Rossiel and Burning Brand. And for you, we'll do the Durndingle Warrior, dealing 1 damage to boost my defense to 5.
Okay.
As for attacks, I want to keep mine alive for another turn, so I will just attack with Gandalf and ready him, and then Gandalf can contribute on your side.
Okay. Well, Glorfindel's sufficient to kill mine unaided.
Okay. Gandalf will let Glorfindel do his thing then. Elven show-offs.
Well,
and then 2 damage on this hound.
in the last quest, Glorfindel didn't get a chance to do hardly anything, so you can hardly blame him for doing a little bit of showing off now.
Gandalf's just salty because he hasn't gotten resurrected yet, and Glorfindel has.
There we go.
Well, depending on which version of the canon we're looking at. But
Oh.
we won't get into that.
So there we go.
Good to see the Will of the West for when I want to recur back. The door is closed.
Very nice. I'm seeing another Rivendell Minstrel, but I think we're doing fine as far as willpower goes. Mind passing me over the Frodo stack?
Oh, yeah, have at it.
And I'll Master of the Forge in. There's an Elven male. And Barivor will draw me 2 cards. There's another Elven male. And Distant Stars. So the first thing I will do is draw a card back with Elven Light and discard Elven Light to add a resource to, I don't know, Arwen. Drawing a card with Galdor. There's a Light of Valinor, that's fine. And if you don't mind, I'll take the ring for myself this time.
That sounds a little sketchy, but go ahead and take the ring for yourself.
Putting the resource on Glorfindel. And I will do To the Sea, discarding a second copy of Elven Light and a Light of Valinor to put a veteran Sword Elf into play. And I will also play a copy of Elven Mail onto Rossiel, so she is now a Sentinel.
Oh, too kind. And she has 2 actions and 5 hit points, I believe. Yep, no draft on her yet.
And then I will spend 2 resources to put out an Imladris Caregiver and Frodo's 2 resources to put Sting on him.
Great. Now we just need that mithril shirt to come back from the discard pile. And then he will be a force to be reckoned with.
Indeed he shall. Indeed he shall.
I've got quite a few duplicate uniques in hand. I think what I will do is use the wizard pipe to swap in this booming ent. Use the staff, play him. And that's it. Do we have a Hills of Holland yet in victory display?
I believe we do.
No, we have a Eregion.
Oh, okay.
So this will be the perfect opportunity to get one.
All right, then.
Another fine location to add to my collection.
There we go. Arwen and Glorfindel for 6. Frodo for 4. That's 10, 12, 13 with the Imladris Caregiver.
Let's do 8.
So 23? No,
That
I
should
did
be
13,
right.
so we're 21.
Okay.
And I believe we have to quest to the 9 Walkers, so
Okay.
I think we're likely to clear it.
I think so too. But let's see what the encounter deck has to say.
First reveal, Snowdrifts. I think we won't clear it.
Oh, okay.
Second reveal, another Hound of Sauron, which surges into another Hound of Sauron.
I definitely want one of these in my collection.
Which surges into Bitter Cold, which is not a peril, and Arwen will cancel it.
Great. Card number 2.
That was card number 2.
Oh,
Card
that's
number
right.
1 was
Snowdrifts
Snowdrifts.
was number 1.
So we make
Gotcha.
3 progress on the Hills of Holland.
Okay. Well, I guess we can't quite have Hills of Holland in our collection yet.
How do you feel about just leaving the wargs up there for a little longer?
Yeah, that should be fine. They're both at 40, I believe.
And I'd really kind of like to engage them when there's not an active location, because raising my threat by 4 is not something that I'd rather enjoy doing at the present moment.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. We'll take care of the one that's down here already, at least. Rossiel will defend for no damage, and Gandalf will attack. Then I'll drop a non-return and pop him up into the...
All right. And I'm ready to move on.
Sounds good. I will have drawn a card from Expert Treasure Hunter.
Yes.
Great. If you would pass the Frodo stack.
At your service.
I'm going to be a bit of an exorbitant spender and pay for Out of the Wild at full price. And let's look at the top 5 cards. What do we have?
There are 6 cards left, so I'll just put them into the staging area. 1,
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Alright, we already have a Crevine, a Eregion, and a Howling Warg. Let's get a Regiment of Crows in there, just so we can cancel it.
I like it.
And shuffle everything back in the deck.
There we go.
Gandalf will grab a Durndingle Warrior off the top of the deck. And we'll prime Rossiel with some money. Over to you.
Excellent. And then I will do Master of the Forge and grab another Unexpected Courage. And bring an Elven Light back. And then discard it to Arwen for a resource triggering Galdor's response, putting the resource on Arwen, probably.
Can I actually retcon back to my planning real quick?
Yes.
I'm just going to Wizard Pipe to swap the door is closed on top of my deck, so I can then play the Expert Treasure Hunter onto Rossiel.
Very good. I will...
Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's no problem at all. I will use to the sea to discard both of these veteran sword elves and spend Baravor's resource to put this Rivendell Minstrel into play. My veteran sword elf is now a 3/3 character there. And I will also spend a resource from Glorfindel to give him a bow. And let's
Oh, the bow is not restricted.
draw 2 cards
I'd
with
never noticed
Barrymore.
that before.
Alright.
Questing time again?
Questing time again.
Let's do 12.
So, I am questing for 10, I believe.
And I think I'm sending 12.
So, 22 between us against 2 in staging. So, let's go ahead and reveal some cards. Your card is Redhorn Foothills.
Alright.
And mine
Is not a Crevine.
is not a Crebain. Very well. So we make far more progress than we need, 16 to be precise. We clear the Hills of Holland, raising our threat by 2 apiece.
Okay.
And we advance to the next quest stage.
Alright. Suddenly Aragorn leapt to his feet. How the wind howls, he cried. It is howling with wolf voices. The wargs have come west of the mountains. Fellowship of the Ring.
So each of us has to find an enemy. There is a Howling Warg in the encounter deck. And then the other one. Do we want to pull that one out, or would we rather another Hound of Sauron?
Probably another Hound to minimize the random discards.
Okay.
Although, actually, we wouldn't have to engage the Howling Warg. Let's do the Howling Warg.
Okay. Um,
This is going to seem like a pretty good opportunity for distant stars next quest phase.
okay. And then we'll pull out the Great Warg Chief.
Yes, indeed.
I shouldn't have shuffled the discard pile, but it doesn't matter. So we're forced to travel to the Red Horn foothills.
Yep, let's take a look at quest stage B.
Yes.
Or 3B. Fellowship is being hunted by ravenous wargs.
During the travel phase, the players must travel to a location if able, and then after a location enters play, place a damage on it, and after an enemy engages a player, place 1 damage on the active location if able.
Right.
So at the moment, these Hounds of Sauron have minus 20 engagement cost.
Actually, we might just have to engage 2 of them. The Great Ward Chief and then whatever he pulls out.
He
And
won't
that'll
pull
bring
out
the
anything.
Hound
There are only 2
35.
cards left in the encounter deck, and neither of them are enemies.
Oh, wonderful.
And because when we engagement will not be the quest phase, I do not believe the encounter deck shuffles.
That's correct. Yeah. At this point, I don't think it really matters who takes him.
Let's see. If I take him, Gandalf or Rossiel can defend. And I can strike back for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. More than enough to kill it. Or, alternatively, do we want to engage everything and kill it all and use distant stars on the Red Horn foothills?
That would also be a good course of action.
If we leave things as... Oh, okay. So one of us would...
If we just leave it to nature, the Hounds start at 30, and the Great Ward Chief is at 30. So one of us would engage a Hound, the other would engage the Chief, and nothing else would come down.
Right.
So I think that's the maximum we can do, is just 1 apiece.
Right. Because if we optionally engage... Yeah, okay. Let's get that Howling Warg down then. I'll take the Howling Warg.
Okay, and I'll take the Chief.
Okay.
Rossiel
I'm doing
will defend
Rossiel for both because both the shadow effects are nasty.
Yep, she will do both and discards Gandalf's staff to up her defense to 5.
Alright. So she takes no damage, and you do not have to discard a non-objective attachment you control. And then she takes no damage, and the attacking enemy does not make an additional attack.
Fabulous.
And then I believe you have more than enough to kill the Warg Chief as well.
Yep, each of these booming ants attacks for 5, so they'll be good by themselves.
And then Glorfindel can dispatch the Howling Warg, and we've added 3 damage onto the Red Horn foothills.
Alright. And I think that's the end of that.
Alright then.
And you get the Frodo stack.
Thank you. And
Keep in mind that you do have old bogey stories if you ever want to give up that hand of 15 cards for something that you're missing.
I don't know that I'm missing anything at the moment. Other than
Yeah,
maybe...
not like last quest.
Goodness gracious. I'm going to put an Atlas onto that Imladris Caregiver. Spend a resource from Arwen to get an Elven Light in my hand, drawing a card. Ditch the Elven Light to put another resource onto Glorfindel, drawing another card. with Galdor's response. There's Glamdring, that's kind of nice. And I have not
Oh, that's
yet
exciting.
used up both of Glorfindel's restricted slots. But do we get anything special for actually killing the Watcher?
I don't believe so.
Okay. In that case, I can't remember if I actually put in some extra scouts or not. So I'm not going to risk it, and I'm just going to use Barivor as a ranger for distant stars, ditching the Redhorn foothills, and instead putting...
You might want to do that after staging, just in case a regiment of crows is revealed.
Ooh, fair point.
Or we could just say that happens, and then if regiments of crows is revealed, then it does nothing. However you want to work that.
We'll do the one that keeps all the cards on the table, just so I don't forget anything.
Sounds good.
Does Gandalf want a legacy blade?
Gandalf probably doesn't care. He is ranged, but so is Glorfindel.
Right. Glorfindel just is probably going to end up using an elven mail.
Gotcha. Then sure, Gandalf will take it.
And to the sea, we'll ditch 2 Masters of the Forge and the other 2 copies of Galdor. And spend a resource and put Gildor and Glorion into play.
Nice.
And do you need the ring?
The ring would be nice, but have at it if you would like it.
Now, you know what? I'll pass it over to Rossiel.
Oh, you were too kind.
And it's all yours.
Alright, I'm going to use the pipe to switch this Wandering Ent with Treebeard, just for a little bit of pseudo card draw. As I play him off at the top of the deck. I'll use Gandalf's Staff to draw another card. There's a Sylvan Tracker that could be interesting. And then I will not spend anything else. I will save Rossiel's resources for staging.
Excellent. And then questing comes.
And then questing comes.
So I will quest for 6, 10, 14, and use Master of the Forge while I'm at it. And pull up an extraneous copy of the Wizard Pipe. So 14 on my side.
Okay. We will do 12 on my side.
12, you said?
Yes.
So 26 between us, and 2 in the staging area. So the first reveal, my card is the Great War Chief, back from
long
the
time
dead,
no see.
and a tree-crowned hill. So we've added 7 for a grand total of 9. And I will now do distant stars with Barivor to ditch the Redhorn foothills. Instead pulling out How do you feel about another Redhorn foothills?
I feel like why not? I'm going to probably leave no trace anyway,
Okay.
just so we
Whatever
have
we
that
put out
option.
will get a point of damage on. So it's either do we want to
Okay.
discard a random card or raise our threat by one, because Irigion is a non-starter for all sorts
Threat
of
raise is
reasons.
probably best.
The threat raise? Okay.
Right.
The Hills of Holland, then, is our new active location. It enters
Okay.
play with a damage on it.
Okay.
And just in time for us to make 1, 2, 6, 9. There's 9 threat in the staging area, so just in time for us to make 17 progress.
Wonderful. And I will draw
Which
2
is
cards.
which is just enough for us to clear the quest stage. We raise our threat by 1 apiece.
Okay.
We advance to stage 4.
Awesome.
All right. Would you like to
Oh, yes, sorry. Pursued by evil wargs in fell weather, the Company of the Ring decides to enter the mines of Moria. That's going to end very well. But as they seek the hidden gate, a foul creature seizes the ring bearer with one of its many groping arms. Dun dun dun.
So we make the Doors of Durin the active location,
All right.
and then we add Watcher in the Water to the staging area, and discard all tokens, goodbye Frodo's resources, from the ring bearer, and place him face down under the Watcher in the Water, along with his entire stack.
I fear that we have only made the stack larger.
I'm just gonna put it over here instead of actually underneath the Watcher.
Sounds good. And we have 2 active locations.
Oh, and this tree-crowned hill entered with a damage on it, I believe.
Yes, that is correct.
So during the travel phase, we must travel to a location, so off to the tree-crowned hill we go.
Now that we have an action window, I'm going to buy Mithrandir's Advice from the top of my deck for a full 3 cards of draw. And then play Kina's Lances, send it to victory for 2 resources.
Excellent. All right. So, the Watcher in the Water is considered to be engaged with each player and will be attacking us.
Okay.
So we'll need to handle 2 attacks for 6.
I believe the maximum it can get is +1 attack. So Gandalf could defend and Rossiel could defend. I have some Dundingle warriors that could defend.
Okay.
So we should be fine.
And then we have Warg Chiefs and the Hounds of Sauron. I mean, if we engage the Warg Chief, then... Well, we have to engage the Warg Chief. But once we do, the Hounds of Sauron will remain in the staging area and we'll be fine.
They will be at 35, which means that one of them will come down.
Well, not if we don't... Not if we optionally engage the Warg Chief.
Well, they're at 30 right now.
Are they?
Because they count themselves.
Right. So they're... Oh, the Watcher counts as well, so they'll be at 35. So
Yes.
one of them is coming down. Well,
Right.
this is going to be exciting.
Yep, lots of damage. Hopefully they don't breach the doors. That would be a
When
very
we
ignominious
engage,
end.
place it on each active location. Okay, well, so if we leave things to go naturally, it'll go like so. Is this what we want to happen? You have more attack and therefore could kill both enemies.
Yep, I'm fine with it.
Okay. And the Great Warg Chief will put a warg enemy into play engaged with you. Why is
Hello, Andoril.
Andoril?
The boons discard into the encounter pile for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay, so he puts a Howling Warg.
And that'll be 3 damage on each location.
Alright then. So... and then a second shadow card for the Watcher in the Water. Which is actually slightly out of order, but... life goes on. Oh, no, and I switched to the wrong one. There we are. Now all the shadow cards are in the correct order. Not that it matters because they're random, but...
Great. I believe you're up first with 2 defenses.
Okay. I am going to... let's see, I have... oh, I only have 2 hit points left on Glorfindel.
You do have an Athelas.
I do, and I think...
however, we also might want to save it for if Lust for the Ring comes out.
I have 1 more in my deck and only 12 cards left. I think I'm okay. I'm gonna.
And the Glorfindel could also heal himself the hard way.
Yep, that's what's gonna happen. He's gonna spend a resource to heal himself. We're going to ditch Rivendell Bow and a Wizard's Pipe to the Caregiver to heal him for 2. And now I could probably take that attack undefended. But first, would Rossio mind defending my Watcher in the Water attack?
Defending which attack?
The Watcher in the Water?
I'm thinking I might want her for my attack
too?
from the Watcher. Because she just has 1 action.
Oh, okay.
I'll send a Dirndingle Warrior.
Okay, that's just fine.
And he dies, unfortunately.
Oh, 7?
Yep.
Oh, even with that. That's a pity. And I will take the Hound of Sauron undefended. And then I will exhaust the Caregiver and discard the Athelas to heal Glorfindel fully.
Alright. Rossio will defend the Watcher on my side.
Okay.
And I will drop
attack.
a Gandalf Staff and a Surplus Treebeard.
So she only takes 1 damage?
I think those 2 will put her up to 6.
Right. The shadow card is plus
and then
1
the
attack.
Burning Brand.
Oh, cancels the shadow.
Yep.
Right.
This warrior will defend the Great Warg Chief,
Okay.
taking a damage to boost defense. And this Howling Warg I will use Shadowfax.
Okay.
And he will deal 1 damage to the Doors of Durin.
To unactive location.
Yes.
So, shall we pick the Tree Crowned Hills instead?
I'm not sure. Sure, why not?
Unless I think you're a little more familiar with this quest than I, unless there's a ruling that we have to put it on the Doors of Durin.
We don't. No. I was just thinking, because we can generally control how much damage ends up on the doors. And I have doors closed to cancel Regiments of Crows. So we're probably pretty safe either way.
Okay.
But I guess it can't hurt to err on the safe side.
Right, and I was planning
Your turn for
on
attack.
Distant Stars, using Distant Stars on the Tree Crowned Hill. So
Oh, gotcha. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah.
Alright, so we need to do 6 damage to the Watcher. Um,
Um, the two Ents combined with Quick Beam can do it. So you can focus on. Actually, you have tons of attack over there.
I
So have
do.
at him.
So I'm just thinking
Glorfindel's ranged
Galdor
might be
and
nice.
Gildor and Glorion together can kill my Hound of Sauron.
Okay.
And
Um,
your 2 booming Ents and Quick Beam are not sufficient to kill your wargs. That's
they
unfortunate.
could take out the Watcher. And then Glorfindel and Gandalf could combine to take out the Chief, and that would just leave the Howling Ward.
Okay, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13. Let's see. Progress has to be placed on the other active location before we can place it on the doors of Durin. But we're going to be fine. We'll quest through the active location, quest through the doors of Durin, and successfully beat the quest. So we aren't
Right, we
going to
should
take
win
more
next
attacks from
round.
the Watcher. I was just thinking if there's a chance that we might take more attacks from the Watcher next round, then it might be worth it to just knock him out. But
We could still draw Snowdrifts, but it is indestructible.
oh hey, thank you for pointing that out to me. That's annoying then. In that
Yeah.
case, yeah, Glorfindel will combine with Gandalf to kill the Great Warg Chief.
And unfortunately, none return is only for non-unique enemies. Um, all the Ents will team up and take down, or at least deal 13 minus 5 is 8 damage to the Watcher. And rescue Frodo, exhausted with 1 damage on.
Alright. And because we're about to move on to the next turn, and you'll be in control of Frodo, I'll just do that right now.
Sounds good.
And I will draw with Elven Light just because. Alright, ready?
I'm ready. Okay. During the resource phase, I'm going to swap Will of the West with Keena's Lances. And then play Will of the West into the out of play area to shuffle my discard pile into my deck. And not all of them took for some reason. So we'll just shuffle that baby up. I will play Keena's Lances to the victory display and draw 3 cards. I will spend 4 for Treebeard. Um, 1 for Mithrandir's Advice, drawing 2. I will exhaust Gandalf's Staff for to draw a card. And that'll be it.
Alright, and then I will discard Elven Light to put a resource onto Glorfindel, triggering Galdor's response to draw a card. I will spend 2 from Glorfindel to put a Raiment of War on the Veteran Sword Elf. And I will exhaust the Master of the Forge to pull out an Athelas, which was exactly what we needed. We'll spend Berevor's resource to put it onto Imladris Caregiver, and then we shall distant stars away the tree-crowned hill shortly before we win the game.
Sounds great.
Oh, and I should discard the shadow cards from the Watcher as well. So there's currently 6 threat in the staging area. I have a resource saved for Test of Will.
All right. I will commit 6, 7, 8, 14.
And I will commit 10. Could do more, but why bother? 24.
So we're at 24 against 6. We might want a little bit more. I'll send Rossiel for 4.
All right. First reveal, your card is Redhorn Foothills. Gets a damage on it.
Does not on this quest stage.
Oh, it doesn't?
Nope, not anymore.
Oh, very nice.
And then I will shut the door on that Eregion.
Very good. So we've added 4. And before we place progress, Barivor will distance stars to discard the tree-crowned hill and search the encounter deck and discard pile for there are no locations in the encounter deck. So we'll pull out a Hills of Holland, which does not take a damage. And so we make 18 progress, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 18. We clear the Hills of Holland, raising our threat by 0, and we clear the doors of Durin, and we win the game.
Awesome.
Unless I've missed something somewhere.
Nope, that's everything. We don't actually get to defeat the Watcher. We just run straight into the mines, which I'm sure can't be worse than battling a giant octopus. No way.
Of course not.
What could possibly go wrong? Well, let's take a look at our campaign resolution.
Oh, there we are. Control was refused to me of the ring goes south. Would you like to flip it for me?
Oh, yes. If Lust for the Ring is attached to a hero, which I don't believe it is, I think it's somewhere floating in the encounter deck, the players have earned that burden. They were just in time. Sam and Frodo were only a few steps up, and Gandalf had just begun to climb when the Grokum tentacles writhed across the narrow shore and fingered the cliff wall and the doors. One came wriggling over the threshold, glistening in the starlight. Gandalf turned and paused. If he was considering what word would close the gate again from within, there was no need. Many coiling arms seized the doors on either side, and with horrible strength swung them round. With a shattering echo they slammed, and all light was lost. Fellowship of the Ring.
So Lust for the Ring was still in the encounter deck, but with Athelas we could have discarded it whenever it came out. So
yes, indeed. I definitely think that was a better choice to make than the threat.
Whew, yeah, that could have been tricky.
Right, there was quite a bit of threat raising in this quest. Without double back, we'd have been at 42. But yeah, there is the ring goes south. It has successfully gone south, and now we will see what dangers awaits it there.
Join us next time for Journey in the Dark. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
Insert jingle here.